This is why DIY planning breaks down for households with $2 million or more in retirement. Education gets you started. Complexity forces a decision. For years, DIY retirement planning works just fine. You read books, you listen to podcasts, you follow smart people online, you open the right accounts, keep fees low, and avoid obvious mistakes. And honestly, that puts you ahead of most people. But at some point, usually later than expected, around the transition to retirement, DIY planning stops feeling empowering and starts feeling fragile. Not because you're uninformed, but because the decisions in front of you stop being educational and start being irreversible. There is no more income coming in that makes up for mistakes. There are penalties and surcharges on Medicare, and looming required minimum distributions that could push taxes higher without a plan. Not to mention that set and forget it portfolios, which most people use during their accumulation years, likely expose you to more risk than you can handle now that your accounts are not being added to every month. Those all coincide with the moment DIY retirement planning breaks down. Today we're going to talk about what that moment actually looks like, why optimization problems can't be Googled, how interdependent tax decisions trap even smart retirees, and when delegating financial planning becomes a rational, not emotional decision. And before we dive into all that, my name is Knoll, and I'm a certified financial planner and founder of Now Wealth Partners, a financial planning firm helping clients nationwide make smart money decisions. Let's get started. Why does DIY work until it doesn't? DIY planning works best in accumulation. When you're saving and investing, most decisions are reversible, low stakes in the short term, correctable over time, and rarely permanent. If you choose the wrong fund at 40, you can fix it at 45. If you undersave 1 year, you can catch up later. If you miss a tax opportunity, it rarely compounds into permanent damage. Education thrives in this environment. You can learn, experiment, and improve, but retirement changes the nature of those decisions. This leads to the moment clients realize they're stuck. There's a very specific moment when DIY planners realize something has changed. It usually sounds a little like this. I understand the rules, I just don't know what to do next. That moment often appears when retirement is 3 to 5 years away, income will soon replace a paycheck, taxes start interacting with Medicare and Social Security, large balances make mistakes expensive, and decisions start locking in outcomes for life. The problem isn't lack of information, it's too many correct answers, and no obvious best one. That's the difference between learning and optimization. And that is what retirement planning becomes, an optimization problem you cannot afford to get wrong. An optimization problem is different from a knowledge problem. A knowledge problem asks, what are the rules? An optimization problem asks, which imperfect option causes the least damage over time? And then, how does that change at different defined intervals over time? In retirement, you're constantly trading off. You have taxes now versus taxes later, income stability versus flexibility, simplicity versus efficiency, growth versus volatility, and certainty versus optionality. There's no universally correct answer, only context-dependent trade-offs. This is where DIY planning starts to crack. The fundamentals are different, and the old advice that got you to this point is only half the battle. And optimization isn't Googleable. Google is excellent at answering questions with one right answer. How does Social Security work? What's the RMD age? What's the Roth conversion limit? But retirement planning rarely asks those questions. Instead, it asks, should I do Roth conversions now, knowing it raises Medicare premiums later? Should I delay Social Security even if it increases portfolio withdrawals early? Or should I sell appreciated assets now or later given my future RMDs? The answer to these questions depends on your account mix, your tax brackets across decades, your spouse's age and health, your spending flexibility, your heirs' tax situations, and your tolerance for regret. No article can weigh those variables for you. DIY planners eventually realize they're not missing information, they're missing decision integration. And what is even more harmful than Google are some of those $10 per month planning softwares out there, the ones that have you focus on a single input and build a horribly inefficient plan around them. Retirees will punch in their goal to one of these services and say something like, optimize for Roth conversions before my required distributions start, or limit portfolio losses. And the intentions are good, but the results that they spit out are criminal. For those DIYers with over $2 million saved, optimizing for Roth conversions on these software programs typically overconverts early and exposes you to Medicare issues in the future. For those who are looking to limit volatility, you will enjoy inflation eating away at your portfolio returns while the recommended portfolio sits mainly in cash. It is so important for retirees, especially once they reach that $2 million mark, to have a plan that integrates around a multifaceted approach to many different variables. This leads to interdependent tax decisions, which is the real trap. The most common DIY failure point is taxes, not because taxes are hard, but because they're interdependent. One decision changes the outcome of several others. For example, a Roth conversion increases taxable income, higher income increases Medicare premiums 2 years later, higher premiums reduce net cash flow, reduced cash flow changes your withdrawal strategy, and withdrawal strategy ultimately affects future tax brackets, continuing the cycle. You can't evaluate any one decision in isolation. DIY tools tend to analyze decisions one at a time. Retirement requires systems-level thinking, not a binary approach to solving one piece of the puzzle. Then there is this illusion of control. DIY planning gives a comforting illusion. If I just understand enough, I can control the outcome. But retirement outcomes aren't controlled, they're managed. Markets move, tax laws change, health shifts, and life intervenes. The goal of planning isn't precision, it's resilience. At some point, DIY planners with more than $2 million realize they're spending enormous time trying to optimize decisions that are inherently uncertain, and the stress starts outweighing the benefit because the learning curve is steep. As soon as you think you find the solution to one problem, it creates 2 more. It's a never-ending cycle. And that's the tough part. What might be right for years 1 through 3 of your retirement may no longer be right starting at year 4, and that might be outdated within the next 5 years after that. It's a never-ending game of cat and mouse that has no repeatable pattern. And this is when small mistakes become permanent. One of the most important differences between accumulation and retirement is finality. In retirement, missed Roth conversion windows don't reopen. Poor Social Security timing lasts a lifetime. Medicare penalties are permanent. Large RMDs can't be undone, and beneficiary mistakes are irreversible at death. DIY planning breaks down when decisions stop being adjustable. That's when education alone is no longer sufficient. Then there's the emotional cost of DIY in retirement. Another overlooked factor is emotional bandwidth. DIY planning often requires constant monitoring, rerunning projections, second-guessing decisions, staying current on rule changes, and carrying the fear of getting it wrong. Many retirees reach a point where they ask, is this really how I want to spend my retirement? Delegating planning isn't about intelligence, it's about energy allocation. Before we talk to you about why you might want to delegate all or a portion of your retirement plan, I want to thank you for watching our video today. If you find it helpful, please throw this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I know our team here can help you navigate a successful retirement that not only generates the returns you want, but saves you on the taxes you will pay. So take some time out of a day this week or next and schedule a consultation with us to see if you're a good fit for our services. Let's jump back into the video and help you on your way to a successful retirement. So when does delegating become rational? Delegation is often framed as giving up control. In reality, it's about changing what you control. You're not outsourcing responsibility, you're outsourcing integration. Delegation becomes rational when decisions are high impact and irreversible, trade-offs span decades, not years, optimization matters more than knowledge, stress is reducing quality of life, and you want accountability, not just information. At that point, the question isn't, can I do this myself? It's, is this the best use of my time and risk tolerance? I find the best clients are the ones who trust that we're going to act in their best interest, but they also ask really good questions. They question projections and assumptions. They ask for clarity of what they don't understand. They incorporate all of their other partners, such as their lawyers and accountants, and have a very well-cohesive, coordinated plan. But they don't have to think about it for more than 2 meetings a year to confirm their team is working hard in the background to make their retirement dreams a reality. So what does good delegation actually look like? Delegation doesn't mean blind trust. Good delegation means you still understand the framework, you still approve the major decisions, you gain clarity instead of confusion, you reduce regret risk, and you replace reactive decisions with intentional ones. The best advisor relationships don't eliminate complexity. They manage it. And more importantly, they provide you with solutions to your problems before you even see them coming. Explain those solutions in the context of your issues, and then implement strategy once you give the green light. Delegation is not giving up control. It's having to make 1 or 2 critical decisions a year with all the needed information instead of having to think about, implement, and iterate all the other little things that you should not even be wasting your time to begin with. That's what a good financial planner takes off your plate. Let's go over a practical example. Consider a disciplined DIY planner who saved $2.8 million, understands tax rules, tracks spending carefully. As retirement approaches, they face decisions about Roth conversions, Social Security timing, Medicare planning, withdrawal sequencing, and estate implications. They can Google each rule, but not the interaction they all have with each other. Without integration, they typically delay their decisions, default to minimum distributions, miss optimization windows, and feel constant uncertainty. With integrated planning, decisions align across tax years, trade-offs are intentional, outcomes are more predictable, and stress declines dramatically. Same intelligence, much different structure. This is exactly what we deal with every day. Investors who have DIY'd their accumulation years to a balance of 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, or even more, but don't have a clear exit plan. Their taxable accounts have huge embedded gains. Their pre-tax balance makes up 3/4 of their portfolio or more, and is only going to grow through retirement if they have no plan. Folks at the larger end of this scale need to think about estate issues, and many people do not realize that some states even have their own estate tax schedule separate from the federal schedule that you're going to want to optimize for as well. And finally, many DIY planners try to maximize for a given year, when prudent planning is done to mitigate lifetime taxes, which is different for every single person. So no general strategy will solve this for any one person, which is why you need systems thinking. So why does this breakdown feel uncomfortable? Because DIY investors have only thought about maximizing growth at all costs. They've kept fees low, they've saved diligently, and they've worked really hard. They think, I should be able to figure this out. I've handled everything else. But retirement planning failure isn't about intelligence, it's about problem type. Optimization problems are not solved by more reading, they're solved by frameworks, modeling, and experience. And while accumulating things don't really change, that's where the whole see it, set it, and forget it portfolio mantra comes from. But retirement planning is dynamic. What makes sense one year may not make sense in future years. Tax brackets change, tax strategies change, and the tax code changes. Investments underperform or overperform relative to their benchmark. Qualitative aspects such as giving money to family and life expectancy are different for everyone. This is why no two plans are the same and why general rules no longer work. Eventually, every serious DIY planner faces the decision. Do I want to keep managing complexity myself or delegate integration while staying involved? Neither answer is morally superior, but one may be financially and emotionally smarter for your situation. If you have capacity and interest in learning, do it yourself. You're going to save money and have the skill that will last your golden years. If you have no interest in learning or doing this, or don't want to leave a spouse or another loved one out to dry once you're gone, then that's when this is time to turn it over to somebody else. The bottom line here is DIY retirement planning doesn't fail because people aren't smart enough. It fails because retirement problems change shape, especially once your balance hits $2 million or more. Education gets you started. Complexity forces the decision. When outcomes become permanent, trade-offs interdependent, and stress outweighs satisfaction, DIY planning has done its job, and it may be time for something else to take over. If you've reached the point where you understand the rules but feel stuck choosing between imperfect options, that's not failure. That's the signal. And if you want help integrating taxes, income, Medicare, and long-term planning into one coherent strategy, that's exactly what my team does here at NavHealth Partners. Schedule a consultation with a member of our team below. We would be more than happy to see if you're a good fit to work with us. Thanks for watching, and as always, make smart money decisions.